Welcome on board my favorite first class in the world. Today is a good day because I'm flying Singapore Airlines A380 first class suites. I've been lucky to fly them twice before, but the last time was more than 3 years ago. I'm so curious to see if I can still stand by this being the world's best first class. Come with me, Dan, a full-time airline reviewer for over a decade, on this flight out of Singapore Changi to put the full experience to the test as I fly the absolute cheapest suites route, 5 hours from Singapore to Delhi, India. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's go. We start at Jewel. Wowza. But hey, Singapore Airlines doesn't fly from Jewel, so Terminal 3, here I come. A very good afternoon from Singapore Changi Airport. It is time to fly Singapore Airlines first class from Singapore for the second time in my life. But today, based on your guys' very constructive criticism on last time, I'll make sure I use the proper check-in. So let's go check out the real Singapore Airlines first class ground experience before we board our suites flight. Now I have about 2 hours to departure, so still plenty of time. I need to find this check-in area. Hopefully through there it's quick and easy to the lounge, and then we are gonna be in the lap of luxury. The only shame is to do it alone, but I feel more like I'm doing this to share the latest 2025 Singapore Suites experience with you guys rather than purely for my own enjoyment, although of course I will have the best time. So I realized to actually give you the full experience, I need to go outside and then walk around to the check-in area just to show you what it's like when you pull up in your car, because let's just pretend I did that and I didn't go to Jewel. Whoa, this is more like it. And as a bonus, I'm being checked in by the most Singaporean auntie ever. I personally love when customer-facing staff keep things casual and relatable rather than trying to be something they're not or act all high and mighty because of first class. Just because my flight is atas doesn't mean we need to behave all atas. Next, I clear my private immigration, which is straight across from the escalators up to the Chris Flyer lounges, and for me today, the private room, which isn't actually a private room per se, but on-air podcast listeners will know that a lounge that isn't called a lounge is usually better anyway. As I enter, everything is a whirlwind of excitement for a moment, but before I know it, I'm plonked down with a menu and being taken care of by the most incredible staff. I actually cannot wrap my head around how good they are. It's like they sense what type of service you prefer and then immediately deliver exactly what you like. In my case, sassy and casual, yet sharp, if that makes any sense. For example, the waiter jokes that he's climbed a palm tree at Changi to get me the coconut, so I better enjoy it. So good. This is one of the best coconuts I have ever had. In the background, they're playing Singapore Airlines boarding music to cut through the awkward silence of a lounge like this. So no, I am not okay right now in the best way possible. Okay, next up, truffle ifu noodles with some, I think, pickled chili. I should proceed with caution with these, although I like spicy food. I'm not in the region where I can get away with saying I like spicy food. And finally, although I'm already stuffed, some orfan noodles. Oof, look at that. After a truly spectacular sensory overload with my exact preferred type of lounge food and all the other stuff, I head to my gate, but not before I stop by the nap rooms for a quick peek. You get 2 hours in these rooms as a first class passenger, which is a little weird because who's relying on this for a mere 2 hours of rest? But anyway, I also stop by the gorgeous lavatories and then down to the gate we go. I am afraid the Singapore Airlines A380 is actually illegally iconic and can never be retired because the Avgi community will not survive that kind of blow. So I'm at the gate now waiting for the flight. It is crazy that Singapore Airlines schedules 30 minutes to board an A380 on a Singapore to Delhi flight. So that means potentially over 500 passengers need to board in that time. Now, before I board and show the cry-worthy welcome that Singapore Airlines basically guarantees its first-class passengers, I just need to show you the seat map that I have excruciatingly worked to perfect because Singapore Airlines deserves it for this hard product. On board these iconic birds, the upper deck features 2 classes, business class, a lot of it, and of course, suites class, the 6 seats here at the front. For context on the size of these seats, Emirates fits 14 first class seats in this area. Etihad fits 9 plus the residents, even with their incredible apartments. That should give you an idea of just how much real estate these seats occupy. The suites in row 1 and 2 can be combined into one massive suite for 2 passengers, or if the flight is empty, for just 1 person. 6 passengers share 2 lavatories for a ratio of 1 toilet to 3 people at most. The interesting discussion that these seats present is how much of a revenue premium Singapore Airlines can charge over the likes of Emirates, considering that their seats take up more than twice as much space. The sad truth is, not enough extra to justify the investment. Instead, these suites are the ultimate halo effect around the Singapore Airlines brand, making everything at Singapore Airlines feel more premium as a consequence. With that, let's board from my POV. Well, okay, my bag's POV, but still, how awesome is this? You guys know I always blur the crew's faces, but I just feel like here I have to share because they're all so beautiful, so on their game. This is the Singapore Airlines first class welcome. And oh my god, this is all mine to enjoy today. My double suite may be bigger than the apartment Oscar and I lived in when we studied in Seoul, no kidding. The idea that any other airline would have a superior seat in first class, I mean, how can that even be entertained? In my opinion, this is it. This is the first class suite. I must say that I'm very unhappy about one thing though, guys. I'm extremely dissatisfied actually. Time is a scam and time is not fair. I feel like I've just sat down, cracked one joke with the crew, and suddenly the safety video, which always warms the tear ducts, starts playing and we're pushing back. Excuse me, what happened to my precious 45 minutes to enjoy this seat on the ground? Poof, they're literally gone in the snap of a finger. The saving grace is that our taxi is quite long and we're treated to all types of exciting views. Changi really is one of the A380 centers of the world. So, bye-bye Singapore, I guess. After takeoff, I just sit there stone-faced and paralyzed, not knowing what to do or where to start. Luckily, the crew are there to be emotional support through these trying times of first-class seat overload, and they offer to make my double bed for me. I head to the lavatory in the meantime, no comment needed for this masterpiece. I was actually really lucky to fly Etihad's A380 apartments to Singapore a few days prior, but this is just, I don't know, man, the beds are just different. Do you see how fluffy everything is? I used to say these were too firm, but seriously, what was I talking about? These beds are among the best in the sky without a doubt. You might be wondering, Dan, how are you panning? Do you have a camera team on board? No, sir. Meet the Insta360 X5, the camera that is helping me convey just how awesomely massive this seat is. What's wild is that this tiny camera shoots in 8K 360 degrees, meaning I don't have to worry about where I'm pointing it. I just record and then decide how I want to frame the shot later. My camera was a bit wonky when I recorded this, but that doesn't matter because I have 360 degrees of footage, so I can literally choose exactly what I want. From that, I can change the rotation and everything after recording. And let's say the camera were to fall and break a lens by falling on some hard surface during turbulence, you don't have to worry about that because now the lenses on the Insta360 X5 are completely replaceable. But don't worry, the lenses are very rugged and built to last. If the camera were to fall out the airplane window, or more realistically, I would lose it, I don't have to worry about losing any footage because the footage is constantly being uploaded to Insta360's cloud so that everything is safe even if I lose the camera. Now, what am I doing now? Am I flying a drone on board? Of course not. I in Casey Neistat, I am using the invisible selfie stick. The X5 literally erases it from view, giving you these impossible third-person shots. No drone, no cameraman needed. You might not be able to tell, but it's actually pretty dark in the cabin right now, but because of Insta360's pure video mode, low light is not a problem. The Insta360 app is AI powered, so sharing shots is easy. Listen, if you want to level up your travel content or just capture content in a way that feels pretty cinematic, as you can tell, then check out the Insta360 at the link below or at the QR code right here. You will get the best deal and you'll be supporting my channel in the process. There's barely time to sit in the bed before my amuse-bouche is served by one of the 4 crew members working the suites. Yes, I repeat, 4 crew for 2 passengers. One is a trainee, so the standard is 3, which compares quite favorably to most other airlines 2 or even 1 dedicated first class crew member. Now, I hope you guys like to read. Keep in mind that this menu is for a 5-hour flight. The number of options is actually mind-blowing, and that doesn't even begin to describe the virtually unlimited drink selection. With the reading of my favorite religious text, the first class menu, out of the way, let's start this feast because the crew only have 2 people to take care of, so we are going quick. Alright, it is meal time, guys. The appetizer is here. I ordered Western vegetarian today because it was Oriental or Western. There was no option for Indian without dairy, which is cool. So I'm excited because we have a mountain of tempeh here. And check this out. We have a hot steaming focaccia, which I am so excited to dig in. Focaccia dipped in balsamic and olive oil with a bit of salt and pepper is one of the best things you can possibly eat, in my opinion. You know what? Lucky for the focaccia. I'm just gonna say it, this appetizer is bland. No sauce, no flavor, and no concept, basically. How many Asians view European food, in other words? The next course is this tomato soup, which redeems the appetizer by being one of the best in-flight soups I have ever had. So I decided to order the Indian appetizer from the Indian menu, the Indian dish on the menu, which looks cool, but I just have to comment on this plate because this plate is really quite something. It has that Singapore Airlines touch. Honestly, this is exciting. This dish is also tasty, and as you can tell, you want to board hungry, the opposite of how I boarded after all that lounge food. So I'm a little bit confused when it comes to the food because this is not at all the standard of special meal catering that I know Singapore Airlines for. I don't know if it's this specific route or what's going on, but I hope that someone sees this and they think this is not what Singapore Airlines is known for. I've had such good catering so many times on SQ, so maybe today is just a bad day. I don't know, but I haven't even tried this. Maybe it's delicious, but just the look is like, what? Spoiler alert, it's not delicious. That thing on the cauliflower, I think that's meant to be hummus. Finally, a piece of cake for dessert. On any other airline, parts of that meal would cause me to roast them. Here, I just get into bed and forget I even ate a minute later because there are too many good things to distract from the less good things. It is actually impossible to ever get over how insane this bed situation is. You don't even get better beds than this on most private jets, seriously. Even though it's such a short flight, don't think for a minute that we are being cheated out of amenities. You can expect the exact same things as on a 14-hour flight to London here. That means a Lalique Amenity Kit, classy. Slippers, an eye mask, and socks are presented separately in classic SQ fashion. We also get Lalique Pajamas, which I actually don't open on this flight. Here's me in them 3 years ago. Better to save these to give away to someone who comments below, hits the like button, and subscribes. In fact, I'll give one of you it all, the Amenity Kit, the law. So just have to say after I make my stupid joke that this guy is my company today. The crew gave him to me and I just love, I mean, these are for kids, but I love that Singapore Airlines has these and gives them out to av geeks or excited passengers as well. The other thing I was going to say about the crew is that there is no airline that so consistently has the best crew you'll have ever had as Singapore Airlines in first class. Every single first class flight, you are guaranteed to have pretty much perfect service, at least 99% of the way there. Singapore Airlines has that down to a science. There's no airline that is as consistent with its premium service, at least in first class, as Singapore Airlines. It's just truly mind-blowing. But yeah, I imagine it's not very hard to be excited about work when every single day you show up and passengers are so excited. The guy across from me as well, he was like, whoa, I don't think he's flown suites before. He had just come in from Tokyo on the 777 first class, and he was so wowed. So the crew were laughing at both of our reactions and really enjoying that, which of course, if you have a product that you can be so proud of as a flight attendant, then it makes work so much more fun as well. By the way, can't believe I haven't mentioned it yet, but as you can tell, the seat swivels to let you sit in 3 positions. Takeoff, which is forward, dining/TV, which is toward the aisle, and then toward the windows so you can look out. Again, no comment needed. Also, you might have noticed there are no overhead lockers, so our bags and everything else go in our own private closet by the seat. Guys, I would probably fit in here, but hey, the crew doesn't need to see me coming out of the closet like that. Besides, I'm pretty sure they already know. So I've been debating for way too long whether I should actually work on this video or whether I should just enjoy and relax. And finally, after wasting like 30 minutes thinking about that and going back and forth and feeling bad about relaxing, I was like, toxic productivity. We are gonna enjoy. So I ordered a Masala Chai, and I'm gonna load it up with sugar to help my immune system. Uh-oh, I really did put a lot. Okay, anyway. And I'm just gonna lay in bed and read.
1 hour later.
I just have to say that I never, ever take this for granted. This is truly as good as commercial flying gets. The only thing that could possibly make it better would be sharing it with a loved one, but I've been lucky to do that before. So thank you guys for always tuning in, for always supporting me. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider hitting that button. It takes 1 second and it helps me towards my goal that I've had. Well, it wasn't a goal in the beginning, but something I've been working toward for 15 years on this YouTube channel of getting 1 million subscribers. So thank you for that. I also really need to shut up and stop yapping because you are definitely tired of me at this point. But the big question, what I hinted at the start, why is this the cheapest route and how did I book it? There are 2 first class products that are possible to redeem points on, but where it's extremely difficult. The most difficult to get with cash or with points is, of course, Air France La Première, but honestly, Singapore Suites is not that much easier. At least you don't need any elite status to redeem for this. It's more a question of on what routes is actually possible. Delhi, I think, is really the easiest, perhaps along with Mumbai. So if you can find the award rate I found on this route, I 1000% recommend jumping on it and adding this to your bucket list, even though it's only a 5-hour flight. It will be the best and fastest 5-hour flight of your life. So even with cash, it's not crazy compared to a lot of first class. It's about $3,300. Now, personally, I wouldn't pay that, but I'm sure there's some bougie people out there watching this video. They'll be like, oh, okay, let me book that. So the thing is, I can teach you how to start from scratch with no points, no credit cards, nothing, and get this flight for a fraction of that price. By basically learning to buy the right points, but it's a bit complicated for this. So I'm actually adding a whole unit to my Points Master program on Singapore Suites very soon. So if you've been considering joining, now could be a great time if this is a product that's on your bucket list. And I will help you get it, hopefully for as cheap as possible, if you can find award space, which can be a challenge, but not always, like, I got lucky with today. Seriously, I did get lucky with finding award space on the exact date I needed. I spend the next hour reading in bed, slowly making my way toward my actual final destination, London, where Oscar and I are celebrating our birthdays, seeing friends, and enjoying European spring. The crew all ask me, why didn't you just fly direct to London? I told them it was because I wanted to try Air India's A380 from Delhi, but I couldn't bring myself to say the other part because it was too expensive. To be fair, one of the crew joked about the Bang & Olufsen headphones with me and said they were too expensive for her. Same sister, same. We are approaching Delhi after a flight time of, I think, wow, we only got 5 hours and 0 minutes today. I think a few days ago was 540, so I just feel so lucky once again to be able to do this. Of course, like every Singapore Swedes flight, it has been absolutely amazing. Everything besides the food has been perfect. I think the food was obviously quite a bit of a letdown, and I will say I expected more from Singapore Airlines in that department. I don't know if there's been cuts or what's going on. I ordered a special meal, the Western vegetarian, not Oriental vegetarian, which is what I always recommend people to order, but I'm actually surprised that the Western vegetarian did not deliver more. But in every other department, Singapore Airlines just, rules. Service doesn't get better, seat doesn't get better, amenities don't get better, the bed literally doesn't get better. Talk about an insane experience with a double bed. You cannot go wrong with this, and I just wish that, well, maybe I don't wish that this was, something I could fly frequently, because then it wouldn't be as special as it is, but when I get to do it like this every, 4 years, then every single time it's like, whoa. So, welcome to Delhi. This is still the world's best first class in my opinion. I stand by that 100%, and anyone who flies this can count themselves among the luckiest people in the sky. What do you think? Is there a better first class out there? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, as always, fly safe.